Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Begin Optimizing Your Digital Customer Journeys Today. I'm your moderator, Erin Hutchinson from Merkle's marketing team. To lead today's webinar, I'm thrilled to welcome our two industry experts. We have Jennifer Wiesenmeyer, who's Merkle's Vice President of Digital Analytics and Practice Leader, and Casey Carey, Director of Google Analytics Marketing at Google. And without further ado, I'm going to turn the webinar over to you, Jennifer.
Great, thanks, Erin. Optimizing customer journeys has a positive impact on both your brand and your bottom line. Customer expectations are accelerating, and they're comparing their experiences with your brand to the best experiences they've ever had, not just the experiences they've had with your competitors. And consumers are fickle. 75% say they would stop doing business with your brand after just one bad customer experience. And they often interact with your brand long before they're ready to buy. So if the first time they've had a data-driven personal experience with your brand is at point of purchase, it could be too little too late. Aberdeen Group published a great research paper last November about the business value of optimizing customer journeys. And their research showed that companies who manage their customer journeys outperform those that don't across the board. 54% greater return on marketing investment, 10 times improvement in cost of customer service, 3.5 times greater revenue from customer referrals, 56% more cross-sell and upsell revenue, and 24% more positive social media mentions. You know, optimizing your customer journeys makes sense for your brand and for your bottom line, but of course it's easier said than done. It's fairly common knowledge that thinking about a customer journey as a sales funnel is outdated, but few people realize that the concept of driving consumers from awareness to purchase at the end originated in 1898. The new customer journey includes both a purchase cycle and a loyalty cycle. It's connected and it's continuous. The journey consists of dozens, even hundreds of organic moments in which a consumer engages with your brand. And many of them are anonymous or unknown, especially their initial interactions with your brand. But a few happen after they've identified themselves, and even fewer are actually managed by the brand. This is a sample customer journey for Jason, interacting with a retail brand. So he had approximately 20 interactions with the retailer in the 6 weeks leading up to the purchase, and almost 90 touches the year prior. So he's being exposed to display ads and direct mail, he's visiting the website, he's opening emails occasionally. You know, it's complex. Now, every marketer knows this is reality. The question is really, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to decide that it's too complex and stick to what you know? Or are you going to play to win and learn how to better manage these moments? If you want to have a competitive advantage in a world where consumers are increasingly interacting with your brand using different channels, sometimes concurrently, so you know, I know that sometimes I sit on the couch while I'm watching TV, while I'm surfing on my tablet, and I'm, you know, texting my mom on my smartphone. You know, you're going to have to be able to do things differently and do different things. And today, Casey and I are going to cover a lot of content, some more in-depth than others, and we're going to share our very best tips. So we're going to start by briefly touching on two critical data capabilities that are the foundation for both personalization and analytics. Then we're going to talk about how to use analytics to truly understand your audience. And we're going to show lots of examples about how to activate your strategy. And then we're going to illustrate how it all comes together. Well, let's start with the data. So the magical or mythical 360-degree view of the customer. In order to get that, the first capability is to be able to identify that user across multiple channels and devices. Now, ideally, they identify themselves in the first interaction, and then they authenticate in every other interaction. That's usually not the case, though. So let's say we're building a unified profile for Kevin here, and that profile is in the Google Cloud. We're going to need more than ETL scripts to integrate that data. We're going to need both deterministic and probabilistic matching in order to link together the first-party data that we have for Kevin with the second and third-party data that we can purchase for him and for his known cookies. And then in addition to that unified profile, we're going to need to create some data constructs that are going to make it easy to consume the data. And one of those constructs is a customer event stream table. And this is going to allow us to see how Kevin is interacting with your brand sequentially. So this is the data we're going to use to understand behavioral trends, how to best optimize a customer journey, and then this is going to be the basis for advanced attribution. So Merkle is passionate about making every consumer interaction personal and highly relevant. So I'm actually surprised at how little some companies know about their customers. Not how much they know about an individual customer, but of their target customer. So I've had companies tell me that their target audience is anyone who's in market to buy. And even then, their understanding of that customer is very superficial and one-dimensional, and it's primarily based on demographics. If you want to build data-driven experiences and you want to optimize across channels, you have to understand the behaviors, because the behaviors are the primary input mapping into the journey. So let me give you an example of how behavioral data can be used. We work with a global electronics manufacturer, and they sell some of their products online. They sell some of their products in branded retail locations, and then a lot of their products through big box retailers. And they wanted to be able to improve visitor satisfaction on their site and intent to purchase for their top online segments. So we took their clickstream data, which is the granular data around all the behavior that was happening on their website. We also had customer survey data online. There's a tool like Google Survey where we're linking IDs. And then we also had their CRM data because we did have some in-store purchases that we wanted to be able to consider when we were doing this analysis. So with this data, we were able to cluster visitors into distinct patterns of behavior. And then there are actually 6 of them. And then so we could actually understand which of the behaviors had the most influence on satisfaction and then on intent to purchase. Intent to purchase was one of the survey questions.